Hello there and welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be reviewing Spearhead from Space. So let's get into it. So this is going to be specifically the version that is in the Doctor Who The Collection Season 7 box set. So first of all, I've literally just had the chance to watch Spearhead from Space on the Blu-ray set. I've watched it before on DVD, but yeah, since season 2's been airing and I've been planning loads of other videos, haven't really had chance to watch season 7 up until now, and that's a shame because it's one of my favorite, probably my favorite Classic Who season. And what do I think of it? First of all, it looked absolutely amazing. Upscaled to Blu-ray quality. The story just looks absolutely amazing. I mean, it's one of those stories that looks completely timeless. It doesn't really feel like it was made in like 1969, 1970. The way just the colours just pop, like the velvet on John Pertwee's jacket looks just absolutely amazing. The colours just pop, and I think it looks amazing. Now onto the story. I love this story so much. I wouldn't say it's my favourite from season 7, but I love how it's sort of like an introduction to Classic Who, kind of. It's sort of like a soft reboot because obviously it's the first story with the third Doctor, first story in colour, first story of the Autons, and the first of the sort of like on Earth type of story with Unit, where the Doctor's been exiled. So this story really did have a lot to live up to, and boy does it. I mean, this was one of my first Classic Who stories I watched back near the 50th anniversary. I first started watching Classic Who, and this was one of the top 3 stories that I watched. And what a story to start off with. And if anyone wants to get into classic Doctor Who, I recommend they start with this story. The way that how John Pertwee is sort of similar to the Christmas Invasion in that in part 1 he's not really in it that much. It's sort of like he's sort of asleep, getting over the post regeneration, and then when he does sort of like get into his sort of frills and velvet and really becomes the Doctor, really, I definitely think that he's like on his like top form in this story. I don't know if this was the first story that they filmed, but if it is, I mean, he looks like he's been playing that role for years at that point, even though it's probably only been a couple of months. And if you watch this story along with the War Games in colour, the way that it sort of like lines up, so the final shot is the third Doctor falling out the TARDIS. It looks sort of it just sort of like blends together really well. And having recently watched it for a review of the War Games in colour that will be coming up in the next couple of weeks, then I thought I'll crack open the season 7 box set and sort of get going through that, because there's usually one announced in like the next month or so. So yeah, I really love this story. The Autons, personally, I'm not really a big fan of them in this story. I don't think it's their best appearance. I know, bit controversial. Personally, I prefer Terror of the Autons, in terms of how the Autons are and behave, but they are really creepy in this, like, no doubt about that. The scene when they're transporting the Nestine meteorite things, and the Auton just like jumps out on the road. That, even like today, when I first watched that when I was like 6 or 7, even that, nearly at that point 50 years later, that terrified the pants out of me. Seeing like the sort of the cracked glass with the face of the unit soldier, and then the Auton just staring at it in the background, I think that looks absolutely amazing. And I don't know if they've done any sort of more restoration work, but I've seen a couple of videos of the standalone Blu-ray they released in about 2015, and there does look some slight differences between that Blu-ray release and the collection set, so I don't know if there's any difference there. Also as well, the Brigadier, it's his sort of first proper story in the sort of like down to earth setting thing. Personally, I think he does get better as he goes along. I think he's still sort of finding the character as the Brigadier. He's obviously was in the Invasion and the Web of Fear, but I feel like with him being a more sort of a regular starring role, I feel like his character sort of changes over time, and I quite like that. He's sort of like, at the start, he's sort of like thinks he knows everything about the Earth because he's one of like the person who's in charge of its security, thinks he knows everything, but as soon as the Doctor comes down and tells him and opens his mind up to this like world of sort of wonder and aliens, he very much sort of like is more open to different concepts than he is in Spearhead from Space. And I can't remember if that happens throughout season 7, but I know certainly by the Three Doctors, he's sort of became a lot more willing that this is happening. There's sort of like an air of, oh, this isn't happening. Yeah, if you get what I mean. But overall, I think this is a really great story, and I think it's probably top 3 for me in Jon Pertwee's era. And I'm really looking forward to rewatching the rest of season 7, especially some of the recolorization they've been doing with like the Silurians, Ambassadors of Death and Inferno. I'm really looking forward to seeing that and reviewing them for you all. So let me know what your favourite season 7 story is, and also let me know what box that you'd like to see next release in the collection line. Let me know in the comment section down below, and hit the like button and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.